Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the official Ark podcast here every Thursday. Back today with number 423. My name is Coach MT, and I'm here live today with the core team. Your host for tonight, as always, the captain on board the Ark here, the one and only Mr. Atlas. Hope you're doing well, sir.
We are doing very well, Coach MT. Thank you for the introduction, and folks, welcome back to another edition of the Ark Weekly Podcast. This is Thursday, February 15th. What a great beginning to the year we're experiencing here. The cherry on the top really was the connection and the signing of contracts with a massive crypto community of over 350,000 investors that are having success. They're wanting to on-ramp, they're wanting to off-ramp their crypto. We are already seeing in our on-ramp massive volume starting to really push through. We're going to be activating the virtual cards, and then after that, we're moving to the physical cards. And folks, we know what that means. What we've been telling you, we need to build these products. We need to make sure that they're safe, that the user interface, that every part of the experience, from ordering a card to KYC, being approved by the bank, shipping it out to people's homes, or just being able to purchase a card virtually, no KYC, with less than a minute, making it simple, almost addictive. It's a great experience that we're happy to share, we're happy to give to others, and that's how you prop up businesses. You create a great product and you find the people that are going to use it every day, that are just going to fall in love with those products, and being able to bring in that huge partnership where they're white labeling our products. That's where, folks, we're starting to see what we want to see, what we've been expecting to see, which is the volume happening for the legacy NFT holders, which, by the way, today they're getting presented with a massive opportunity that was taking us a long time to bring to fruition. We already know that a lot of the initial OG legacy NFT holders have already been paid, I believe, over 66% ROI, folks, on those investments. It helped them to go faster in the ROI DAP. I mean, it's all been playing out perfectly. Good things take time. They take good people to build. The end of this quarter, we have our security products. We're competing with Proton Mail. We're competing with the top centralized VPN services out there, but we are decentralized. Everything that we do, we have a password manager. We have a storage component as well, fully using zero knowledge. These are amazing products. So our community is calm, cool, collected, but I know there's an appetite. I know that folks want to be able to earn. They want to go faster. And we have here the opportunity to work with this fund that we've seen, and not only seen, but we've witnessed through partners that we have that have been invested there. And this has been the best investment they've made in the past 2-3 years. The proof is in the track record. We always say here, past performance generally equals future performance. However, when you're looking at long-term investing, when you're looking at compounding gains and being able to reach, I mean, they did a 34x last year, and it's averaged that out for the past 3 years. They're absolutely amazing. So we want to get involved. We want to invest as a treasury. We want to invest as personal folks here. The core team is personally investing in this. And we don't want to leave anyone behind because we know through the track record what we can expect. We're being conservative in the numbers. We're offering a 10x, folks. That's 1,000% in 10 months' time. These are projections that fall short. Because if you know what the ARK is about, we always underpromise and overdeliver. We believe we can fill this a lot faster, hit that 10x a lot faster than the 10 months, but we want to give it enough room. We want to give it enough space. We understand that if you're going to hodl Ethereum or Bitcoin, which is not something bad, and we're not giving you financial advice, but we can tell you from experience, to get a 10x on Bitcoin, my friends, like in the next 10 months, my personal opinion, I do not think it is possible. You would need every pension fund, teachers union in all the states of the United States of America and the biggest hedge funds all to just completely go all in into really an opportunity like what Bitcoin has to offer through the ETFs that we've all been keeping track of and seeing how that's all developed. We understand that compounding, gains that you're having on a daily, on a weekly basis is really the way to expand and grow. And by allowing the fund to do what they do best to be able to reach those numbers of, of a 34x, I think our investors will be very happy with the setup of a 10x in 10 months. And if people are hesitant and they're worried, they've seen, and we've seen, and if you've been paying any attention this past year, you've had the Wolf Capital, over $10 million rugged. You've had the Stable Fund. You've had so many of these projects that if you played close attention, you would understand that they were a rug, that they were a scam, they were a fraud from day one. Offering high ROI, offering high referral commissions, high taxes. But let's be realistic, folks. If you're paying out a high yield, it doesn't matter how high or low your taxes might be, your taxes are not going to be able to save a project by paying those high ROIs. It's just not going to happen. Referral fees are a great way to get people in, but that has also the stigma of the whole pyramid, Ponzonomics. And I don't know about you folks, but we here at the ARK put so much love into our ROI DAP, but understood that it has its short-lived potential. When the focus shifts and people start going to buy the Pepe and they see something shiny, the focus is gone, the narrative changes, the project is going to suffer. Whether you have an ILC where you're just based on a token price, we've seen people make a lot of money. And we also see people show up, quote unquote, late, which you never know when it's late. Late is when you came in and the narrative changes. And we said to ourselves, look, let's build utilities. Let's build our banking products. Let's do things where we're not basing it on Ponzi. We're not basing it on someone has to go get a referral every single day so that we can keep price where it was. And shout out to this community for 6 months. I mean, we were the best DeFi project holding a beautiful, steady price. Everybody was calm. Everybody was smiling ear to ear. I mean, shout out, guys. Come on. Credit where it is due. And that's the community. And with that, we also need to understand that as developers, we need to up our game. We need to make it safe for people, and we need to eliminate anything to do with Ponzi. That's why you've seen the banking products. That's not Ponzi-based. That's why you see the security products launching at the end of the quarter. That's not Ponzi-based. And now you see this, which has an internal revenue machine with a proven track record, with a fund that we're very lucky to have the opportunity because the performance has been so exceptional, folks, that they're not dealing with little guys like us anymore. This is a favor of really, I think nothing short of a miracle situation that we were able to get in through the door. Because they're not talking to people that don't have less than 150, 200, 250. Institutions, pension funds, hedge funds, and high net worth individuals. But we've been granted the opportunity. We are taking a 3 million position. We might increase it. Let's see how the next 24, 48 hours go. But it's enough for us to be able to bring an incredible return in 10 months, letting it compound, letting it grow. Another great advantage is that the funds are in our Binance account. We're not having to hand the funds over to the fund. We're using an API that's already been tested, and it's up and running through the test system where we don't give the control. We have the control of the funds for the investors, and that helps everybody here feel very safe at night. So every way, every angle we look at it, we see there's a massive win here. We have an insurance on the deposit that folks come and bring to the table, which is something we haven't seen anywhere. A lot of questions. Hey, how does this insurance work? Well, it's very simple. when you go into a leverage trading position, you go to an exchange, let's say you have a Bybit or a Binance account, you could leverage what you currently have in your account. Stables, you can also leverage, blue chip cryptos. You can go 3x, 5x, 10, or even 100x. And depending on the level of margin that you're adding to your position, you're cutting into the possibility of getting liquidated. 10% of your portfolio, 50, or even 100% of your portfolio, which would be a heinous debacle any way you really want to look at it. So with the initial deposits of the folks that want to opt in for the insurance, what we do on the back end, we make sure that, whether that's, $1.5 million or 900,000, whatever the number might be, we never allow any of the margin positions for any of the trades to cut into those insured funds so that they always remain in the positive. The folks that are taking the higher risk, that are going for the full 10x, they're not going to have their initial deposit insured. They're going for the full 10x. The folks that want the insurance, they're going to do a 5x. And that's how we leverage the position. You're risking more. It's the same amount of money, but you're taking a bigger risk. You're not collateralizing and keeping it away from the risk on margin of a trade. So that's how we're able to insure it. And to be clear, this is an insurance in the worst case scenario that something happened and would go wrong. You would be entitled to your deposit. You invested 1,000, you've got 1,000 taken care of. You invested 150,000, 150,000 are spoken for. They will be returned to you. If there's profits and we say, hey, we're going to stop, or again, you always have to plan for the worst. So this is planning for the worst. We always need to make sure that we have everything in order so that we can satisfy and give people their assurances, because there's just been scam after scam.
Atlas, you're
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Hello? Coach MT? Anybody there?
Yeah, I don't know what he was trying to say. I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I think maybe it was just breaking.
must be my end. I'll leave and come back. Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, no
sir.
worries.
Thank you for that anyway. So we've seen it all, and we think at this point, look, we've proven as a team here that transparency, integrity, showing up to work and working harder than anybody else, it's what this team does. The quality of our work, delivering on our roadmaps, delivering on what we said we're going to do. We never use the word trust us or we promise. We put it in black and white. We sit here, we answer all questions. We did 416 consecutive podcasts. If that's not a sign, folks, of people that are not just talking, but actually walking the walk and being there and being present, we never leave here when we do one of these podcasts without every single person having their questions answered. And if you don't believe that, spend some time here. Ask the folks that are here what this team is able to do and how they conduct themselves, especially when it comes to dealing with investors and delivering. So we wanted to really come in a very different way. No taxes. Taxes are not going to save you. No referrals. We don't need. We have enough capital to just run the fund ourselves. We have enough personal investments in here as well. We don't want to leave anybody behind. We have nobody to convince. We have nothing to sell, but a great opportunity that we are convinced. There's been folks that are asking for proof of the track record of the fund, and we're not, quite frankly, we're not going to give up who our fund is, and we're not going to show the performance. We're going to show the performance on a weekly basis of how the fund did. And you're going to be able to see in the dashboard your deposits start to accrue and grow as every week we're giving the results. And you can see as you're getting closer how it's growing. There is no panic button. You're not going to be able to say, hey, Mr. Atlas, my car broke down. I need a refund. That is not the commitment we're making here. If you are in that position, it doesn't mean you can't invest. Just go very small. Go with something that you understand that the value of an investment today exponentially, our projections are for a 10x, 1,000%. Is it guaranteed? Am I telling you here, we promise, trust us? No, we would never do that. That's not how this works. There's always going to be a risk. Sometimes the risk is folks just being impatient and pressing a panic button or just, getting into a narrative of not letting the investment do what it needs to do. Sometimes we can be our own worst enemies when it comes to investing. So we have to follow what works, and we have to be with the people that have been able to do it time and time again. A lot of you folks know my track record as a trader. I was doing very well as a trader, but I also had an amazing loss of 86.3 Bitcoin in less than 30 seconds, and almost had a heart attack and died. Promised to my wife I will not trade again. We worked here. Brandon, Drip Guide, he was involved here in the back end with us, looking very carefully at trading bots and seeing if that would have been an option, because we couldn't really bring in what we brought in now with the relationship with the fund. We tried it. There was a couple of weeks and months there that was doing fantastically well, but when volatility really stepped in, we noticed that it was not sustainable. We couldn't offer that. So we shelved the project. We put it to the side, because we cannot come here and offer you something unless it's rock solid. It has to prove. We're not playing the Ponzi games. We can build, we can create real, true value. We've proven that. But we can also see an opportunity, do our due diligence, understand who the players are, and take a leap of faith, understanding how to manage the risk. And we always said, folks, look at the team, look at not what they say, but what they do and how they conduct themselves and how do they do business. It's so important, and it's so hard to find the right people, but we found them. We have the relationship. We want to share it with you. And we want to, see so many folks here that have had patience with us, letting us build our products. We want to see you get a win as well. And what we have here before us is nothing short of a really amazing opportunity. The insurance part, I think, is also for the folks that are just, in that fear mode, because there's been so many bad experiences, and maybe they haven't spent time here with us. Maybe they don't know what the ARK team and this community is about, how transparent we are, and how we've been able to handle, our own ups and downs, but never changing the rules of the game, never putting the investors hostage and telling them, hey, we're making decisions for you. No, your money's stuck here. No, like that's not who we are. No. We've always let the investors make their decisions. You want to sell, go ahead and sell. You want to, get into our ArkNet product. You want to go ahead and diversify into legacy NFTs. Hey, we'll give you advantages. We'll help you, but you make the decision. It's your funds and you're the investor. I'm going to bring in Brett Nordin to come in and talk more about Quant. He's been spearheading. I want to give him a round of applause because he built the whole system in the back end quite a long time ago as we were getting ready for this. We also talked when we did our last pre-sale for the ROI DApp, when we were, allowing folks to come into the legacy NFTs. We talked about getting into opportunities like this with hedge funds that have amazing track records. So Brett Nordin, fantastic work, sir. Finally, we're bringing the win home.
Yeah, we did.
Great couple
we
of
had, we had so much work put into it. It's great to see it, come off the shelf, as you said, and become a reality. So we're just, moments away. I know we published something about Saturday, but we had a little sausage room meeting before the podcast today, and looks like we're going to pull that up and have the D-app live in a couple hours. So if you're on the pod, you will have the first mover advantage. We're also going to post that link, and once Alex gives us the green light, he's doing some things in the background right now, so it could be a couple hours or a little bit longer. But we really want to get this out in people's hands as fast as possible, because these slots may fill up, and we want to make sure that we give everyone an opportunity to get in and take advantage of this. I think you mentioned all of the key points. I can't think of anything else that you missed. As far as how it works, it's so simple. We've always talked about, an Arc Lite being something that is just to set it and forget it. Crypto in, crypto out. In this case, we're just putting stables in, stables out. There's no token. You put the money in, you earn on the back end. There has been some questions about, why are the funds locked? And and things. And we'll have an FAQ also on the DApp page with all of these questions where they're all covered. I think we've covered all of them today. But I'll just reiterate that, we are compounding the background. We are rolling profits. And as you mentioned, sometimes the investor can be their own worst enemy, not knowing when to compound, when to withdraw. We're going to handle that, for everyone in the background so that we really maximize that profit and hit the 10x, the 1,000% return on investment from your initial stake purchase. And the only way we can really do that is to not interrupt the trading. You see a lot of these other funds that talk about, you can pull your funds or pay out, every week or every day or whatever it might be. It's because they're not really doing trading. If you've been around the block in the trading space, you know that when you set up a position, you want to let it play out. And to maximize your opportunity, you want to leave those funds and put them to work. And then rolling the profits is the way to really compound your investment. And so that we can, put that number out there, that 1,000%, and be comfortable and confident that we can hit that in that 10-month period. We have to be able to manage the fund to its, optimal performance. And that means compounding and rolling and then not cutting trades short to pay people out, for example. So all of these things are optimized to make sure that the highest rate of return is delivered. And we feel very comfortable with the 10 months. If we do hit our goals of that 1,000%, on everyone's money, then we will pay out sooner. So we have a nice buffer built in, what we believe are some conservative estimates. And so, it could be 9 months, it could be 8 months, it could be 6 months, best case scenarios, but that's really what we're trying to do. We want to make this such a great success that we open the doors for additional opportunities down the road. So that's kind of the idea here is let's all get a win. Let's make this, a huge success. And, we're all buying in pretty heavy on the team side. So we believe in this as well, put a lot of time and effort and really just work this relationship as hard as we could. And Atlas, this is all you're doing on the back end with, this relationship. You've had, video conferences with the trader, so he's fully doxed. We've had an advisor that has been to visit the trader for a week. So we feel very comfortable with who this person and organization is. It's not just him alone, but we've talked to the CEO, the lead trader, extensively. And as you mentioned, we've been in conversations for quite a bit of time, but couldn't figure out how to do this in a way. And it was just a matter of time before this opportunity opened itself. And you and I couldn't do this individually. It's just not available anymore. They're taking on institutional investors, people with either, really big bags like large whales or institutional money. So as a community, we can participate, but as individuals, it would be very difficult. So definitely a blessing and an opportunity. And we're excited to get this thing launched and fill up this fund as fast as we can.
Yes, sir. I think the sooner we understand who's on board, the quicker and the faster, the more efficient, and we'll have time to be prepared. Ideally, being able to go live March 1st. That's what our target is for now. If it goes a little bit longer, we'll do that. We've already done quite a lot of launches and products, and even a migration to Polygon, which, by the way, there's been a question, is this going to be on Polygon? We're deciding to keep it on BSC with USDT. It's fast, it's cheap. I've personally gotten used to using Polygon and having to always put the aggressive setting when on MetaMask and sending transactions. It took me a little while to get used to it. We want to keep it simple. And by the way, shout out to BNB. I mean, it's just been ripping today, man. Sheesh. Yeah. Binance Smart Chain. Let's go. So, we've seen how they were able to transition and just get rid of the BUSD liability. Congratulations to them. They came through. They came correct. We see Mr. Brandon has a question, sir. Would you like to
Yeah, a couple of questions. You just mentioned that it's going to be on the BNB chain. Does that mean that I mean, do we have to have a legacy NFT in our Polygon wallet, and then we interact with the protocol on BNB chain?
Yeah, we're handling that through the D app. So if you have a legacy NFT, you're already whitelisted. Now we're also going to be opening it up to friends of friends, people in the community that perhaps are not legacy NFT holders, but they're investors. They're here with our community or in the groups where we have investors that have been here with us before. So it's a guaranteed for legacy NFT holders. For the folks that don't have legacy NFT, doesn't mean they're out. We're not doing AMAs. We're not doing marketing. We're keeping this private and quiet the way it really should be. It's a fantastic opportunity. We've proven who we are. Our track record is spotless, and that there's enough opportunity that if we don't blow this up too much, we're going to be able to get everybody in. That really should be. We even lowered because we were thinking of just 5,000 minimum buy-in. Speaking to a couple of even our good friends here and quote unquote whales, it's been rough out there on those streets, and they're like, hey, we can't come with 5 or 10K, so we're doing a $1,000 minimum. Then you have the option to do a 5, a 10, a 20, a 50, and 100K.
Okay, so follow-up question, so for example, I've already spoken with my father-in-law just this morning about this, and but he doesn't have a legacy NFT, so it'll be more of like I have a DM with you or something and give you his wallet address.
That's correct. And an idea too, how much the investment's going to be, because we're going to, we have an internal sheet here where we're gauging, hey, this person's coming in with 1,000, 10,000, 20 or 50,000. So, we don't want to oversell. If it's too fast and aggressive, we'll refund the people that came in the latest, but we're working it so that we can see a live understanding of how many folks are going to be able to come in.
Okay. And one last question. It says 1,000%. So is that a 1,000% gain, or is it a 900% gain, which gives you a 10x?
It's you're investing let's say it's going to be your 10% of what you're going to receive at the end. So let's say it's a $1 million payout. You're coming with 10%, right? And then by the end of the 10th month, you're going to be seeing your $1 million. Another way to look at it, Brandon, imagine that you want to purchase a house, right? You put your eye on this house, you go to check it out, you sit down with the realtors, you look at the closing costs if you're going to do.
No, I just mean the math. Like if you put $1,000 in and you get a 1,000% return, that would mean $11,000 out. So you're saying you put 1,000 in, you're going to get 10,000 out.
Right. That's okay. What you're going to get in the math. But
yeah, so the math is a 900% gain. 10x or a 900.
1,000 times 1,000%, I get 10,000 on the calculator.
Yeah, but that's not a 1,000% gain. That's a 10x. That's a multiple of 10. So the gain is actually 9,000.
The payout is 1,000% of whatever you brought in. In fact, and if you let me to finish the model, another way to look at this is if you went and looked at a piece of real estate that you wanted to purchase. Let's say it was $1 million. You would go look at the piece of real estate, included with all the closing costs. It's $1 million. You would come here within the next 24, 48 hours, and you'd put 10% down. At the end of the 10 months, you're having the $1 million. You can go and purchase your property. Let's get this crypto. So that's another formatted way to look at it. I know you're asking in a mathematical way, but I mean, just think about that for a second. You could purchase an asset by just putting 10% down, no mortgage, not owing it to the bank. This is your property. It doesn't have to be a home. It could be a vehicle. It could be a business, something that you want to purchase. If you have the patience to wait at a maximum 10 months through the past performance, we're able to reach that. We can do it faster, but we don't want to put too much pressure. Another great part here, Brandon, once you reach the 10x, let's say it's 6 months, 6.5, 7 months. Once that is allocated, it's there, we're paying you out. There's no purpose. There's nothing won by leaving the funds there until the 10-month period expires. So that's another great option. And if the folks are using the insurance option, it's the same. Once it reaches that 5X, the distribution goes back out. We cannot make a promise that we will be able, after the payouts, do another roll for another 10 months or so forth. We haven't had those conversations yet with the fund. We've made the agreement. We've locked in our spot for this amount. Let's go for what we have as the months develop. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of happy people, and they're going to want to, this time, hey, let me call my friend. Let me get, that person that came in on a project with me, didn't do too well. Let me get other people here. When we will see as time progresses, if we will do after the 10 months, another round. Another important point, once you invest, whether it's in 48 or 76 or 72 hours, we close it off. That is it, folks. There's no adding to your investment. This is not, hey, my cousin called me, it's next week, it's right before launch, and, we've already closed it. Can he get in? It doesn't work that way. There are no referrals. There are no taxes. This is funds in, funds out. There's plenty.
Will there be some sort of visibility? Like, will we be able to see the progress as the weeks and months play out?
On a weekly basis, you're going to see the growth that's happening on the weekly returns for the fund. You're going to see that apply to your balance, and you're going to see that accruing. I mean, you won't be able to hit a panic button. You won't be able to say, hey, I want the funds now. You're going to have to wait till one of two things happens. It reaches the 10X before the 10 months, or it reaches it closer or at the 10 months. So that's the two triggers that are going to allow you to make your withdrawal. So if you're in a hurry, if you're flopping and groping, if these are funds that you need maybe a month or two from now, lower your leverage, come in a lot smaller, folks, to a point where you're just going to set it, leave it, check in once in a while. We're going to be here doing our podcast. We've got the launch pretty soon here of the security products. This is a long-term, passive, very passive investment that, you'll come back here, 10 months from now, and or maybe even sooner. And boy, are we throwing a hell of a celebration, because the potential there is absolutely fantastic, as you can clearly see.
Hey, Brandon, one more quick point to your question about the payout. On the D app, when you put in, and you select the stake size, so let's say you select $1,000, you'll see on the D app, it will update to the payout for that stake will be $10,000. Just so there's no question about the math and what the expected payout will be. It's going to be right there on the D app. So that's already
whether it's if you think about it, if you put $1,000 in and you get 10,000 out, that is a gain of $9,000, right? So it's a 900% gain. So whether you call it a 10X or call it a 900% or call it 1,000%, it's obviously a phenomenal opportunity. And I only wish I had some more dry powder to put into it. But yeah, technically speaking, it's a 900% gain or a 10X.
Right.
And as long as you're managing expectations very clearly on the dashboard, which you just said you will be, then I don't see there being any issues with the advertising for it.
That's correct, sir. But
Let's
this is it. We're not, like I said, we're not advertising. We're not out there. We just want to give this to the good folks here that have been with us through thick and thin. And look, we've learned to love and care about our community. There is no need to pressure. To be quite honest, the more that we can put in ourselves, the better. But at the same time, we want to see everybody win. So let's see what the sentiment of the community, the temperature, There's folks that are in different financial situations. We want to be, again, very clear. Do not over leverage yourself. Just because we're very bullish, just because we on a personal level are so excited and grateful and going all in, that's us. We've been able to work at this for a long time. You know, Brandon, you've been a part of this, working with us for a very long time. But it really comes down to everybody. And the last thing we want is to see somebody flopping and groping because they didn't, listen to the number one rule. Don't invest what you can't afford to invest. Be mindful, cover your expenses. If you're unemployed, if you're having a hard time, you don't need a lot with this to go through. There are no guarantees except the folks that are wanting the insurance, their initial, which is their lump sum before, launch of their investment. That gets set aside. That's collateralized. It never goes into the margin. So they're taking no risk as far as losing their initial investment. That's something revolutionary, something I haven't seen done in this space, but we can do it. We can keep that separated. We can keep that insurance there. And understanding that the 10X folks are having the brunt of the margin exposure, which is fine. That's what we're here to do, to take on the risk, to manage it with professionals that have been able to provide the results. So I think that really is down to every individual person. I love the idea of getting into an investment that has a fantastic upside, where if my initial investment is not at risk, I mean, sheesh. As Coach Brad would say, it's a no-brainer. But as Tony Montana said, never underestimate the other man's greed. And some people are just like, hey, I'm going to roll the dice. I'm going for my full 10X, understanding that my initial deposit and only deposit amount is at risk. And I understand there's no promises. This is not a contract. There are no guarantees of the projected returns. That's just past performance. And anyone that can guarantee you a return is lying to you, my friends. You have to play the game. You have to adapt to the market. And that's why we look for past performance, because the markets do have their cycles. And if you can understand them, if you have a strategy that's winning, we've talked about it before. Brandon has a friend that's doing 17% a day. I mean, the guy is absolutely smashing it. We even went to him and said, hey, could we work with you, sir? And the guy said, look, I can. My strategy works very well for fishing in a small pond with my buddies. But if you want to come over here with a big, fishing boat with a big fishing net, and you want to come and you're going to take all the fish and you're going to kill the game for the rest of us. So thank you for, wanting to work together and bring and scale, capital to what we do, but it doesn't work. So, if you've been in this space for a while, you understand there's people that are having fantastic, consistent success, because everybody can be lucky for a month or two. I mean, look at the stock market. I mean, over a decade of just up and up and to the right, you couldn't miss. You don't have to be a genius trader. A lot of those people didn't even know how to short. So, it's something that we have to be logical. We have to stay true to understanding the risk. And if there's confidence, if there's FOMO, it's just because the due diligence that we as a team, as a group have conducted. And we're satisfied with our funds, with our friends and family, and more importantly, with our community that we owe so much to, that we have grown to care about so much. Let's move it on to the next question. Thank you, Mr. Brandon, for your question, sir. Who's next?
I actually just had a question. Will it be open to any level of legacy NFT, like even if you have the bronze $100 one?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Let's go.
Yeah. And most probably everybody that's hearing about this is going to have an opportunity, because we're like I said, we're not going out there and pushing and hiring people to do, videos on YouTube. We don't need that. We're not trying to raise $30-40 million. They're out there, believe me. And there's projects out there that have 30, 40, 50 million in liquidity who are not even paying half of what we're paying, and they're going. So because of the nature of it, because we want to keep it small, I think we're in a very good position. Good question, Coach MT. Who's next?
I actually do have another question. I heard you said 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. Is there going to be like no $2,000 option or in between?
No, what you do is you take down 2 of the 1,000 slots.
Got you. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Or if you got 4K, you take 4 of those 1,000 slots. And if you got
you can manage that with just one wallet, Mistletoe.
Mhm.
So if you had 4K outside to the 5, you can do 4 $1,000 stakes all through the same dashboard, same wallet connect. Everything's seamless there.
Perfect. I understand. That's cool.
Yeah, and once you have the stake, when you see the D app, it'll make sense. But there's just a little table that shows all the stakes that you have and the values, the payouts, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, if you take a look at the chat, you see an example.
Yes, sir. And again, very important. They'll come later. Hey, I want to add. I got another paycheck. I want to add to my investment. Hey, I've got my cousin. He wants to get in. Like, once it's closed, guys. This is not a Ponzi. And pay attention to that. Serious funds. Serious projects like this, where you're having professionals, institutions. It's not here. I'm going to put in. I'm going to take out. It doesn't work that way. That's how Ponzi's work. That's where you're always needing new capital, quote unquote, new fresh blood, quote unquote, new victims coming in so you can keep making the payouts. So all of that is completely eliminated. So, budget yourself. Again, budget yourself and understand what you invest now. That's what you can expect to cash out. 10% down, you're getting the full 10x or the 1,000% after the lockup period or when it matures and we reach the targets. So it's very important. It's not an ROI DApp. There are no referrals. There's no adding more. There's no more bringing friends. This is the time. And do be mindful and understand that we have a lockup period of 10 months. It could unlock a lot sooner.
What would happen if it got to the 10 months and it didn't reach the 10x?
We would release what the profits that are currently there are. The insured folks with the 5x, they would, at a minimum be having their initial deposits plus whatever upside. And of course, the 10x folks would be sharing in what the pool of liquidity is having. Good question. Do you have another question, Mr. James, or anyone else, folks? That's why we're here, to answer every question that you may have.
Yeah, just a clarification. I think you've said it because last week you were talking about a 10% referral, but there's no referral bonuses whatsoever. Is that correct?
Yeah, we looked at how that would play out. There's a lot of folks that we've seen that are taking advantage of these referral systems and not doing their due diligence and hyping things up and getting folks into a frenzy, a state where we're looking at these actions and we said, look, we really don't have to play that game. We have enough of a reach. We have enough already capital involved into this, that this opportunity, if somebody wants it, they'll hear about it. If they're close to our community and they'll come, they'll do the due diligence or spend their time. And another big factor about that really was the deciding more than anything, James, was that we want every Satoshi, every, stable that is put into this by a investor that's bringing their hard-earned cash and crypto to the table, that every effort goes right into what this whole thing is supposed to be doing, which is generating the income, the profits for them. If we're taking the 10% and then we're giving it to the guy that brought him in and we're playing that game, that's putting more pressure on our system. It's great for the person who brought the referral, but it's just slowing down. So do we want to do this 11 months? Do we want to do this 12 months? That was the other side to give it more than ample room. And we said, look, let's just stick to completely zero Ponzi. Any way you look at this, lock everything up, lock everything down, explain to everybody that this is a long-term play with fantastic past results. Let's play it that way and forget about the referral system. Let's let your hard-earned money work for you, not just for somebody else, and slow you down. I believe that was the right decision that we made here as a team. It's not necessary.
Yeah, hello, Atlas, can I speak?
Yes, go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I lost my audio there for quite a while. So where will we go to get involved in this? Will it be on the DApp, on the MetaMask, or what?
Yes, it'll be our DApp that we've built precisely for this product, for this investment. And
Okay.
we should be having it live within, I think, the next couple of hours. Please do stay tuned, and
Okay.
you'll be able to come in and make an investment.
Okay,
Good
great.
fortune.
All right,
Happy
thank
to hear
you.
from you. You're very
Okay.
welcome. Great question. Who's next?
So we don't have to worry about compounding then, right?
Exactly. It's all being done for us and the right way. And sometimes the best thing is, as you know, Coach, stay out of the way. let the professionals do what they do best.
Okay, so it's actually 100% compounding, and all the profits go back in to build it, right? That's basically it, right?
Yeah, the profits as they're growing, you're having a larger
Yeah.
bag,
Okay.
having a larger fund. So you have $1 million, then you're coming in, you have 1.1, 1.2. Now you're earning a percentage off of that, and then that's coming in and it's growing. So we learned that whole thing with the power of compounding, through ROI dApps, which is great. But sometimes we can be our own worst enemy and get in the way and not have that balance. That's why it was really good how Brett, the architect here at the Ark, created a system where we wanted people to be fair and not hyper compound too much, and find a balance, right? So it was very important. So, looking at the return to 34x with the formula that they're doing, with the strategy that they're doing, it's very logical that we follow and let that strategy work for us so we can have the fast growth. If you're constantly withdrawing, if you're constantly taking, you're really not compounding that and letting it go through. So yeah, absolutely passive. And that's, I think, one of the great things in the simplicity. You make the investment, you can't add to it, you just leave it alone. You let it grow. You're going to be able to see live what's really happening with the fund as it's growing. And I think it's going to be a lot of excitement as we get closer and you see it growing bigger and bigger and bigger. We're going to have a lot of fun here. Some folks projecting, hey, this is not going to be 10 months. This is going to be, whatever, 6.5. It's going to be 7 or less. We have to go through the process, but the indication is pretty clear that from past performance, it goes really fast. It goes nicely. And nobody has to worry about getting a referral, bringing a friend, knocking on a door, making a phone call, playing the Ponzi games. I don't know about you guys, but we're extremely tired of that. We don't want to play that game. We want the revenue to do the work for us. We want our funds to work for us.
All right. I'm gonna. I can't wait till the first month that I see the percentage growth in this account compared to a savings account in my bank.
Let's go. That's right. And patience, and just the patience and the confidence of understanding track record. That's what it's about, folks. Consistency. Doesn't matter what it is, what you're doing. If you're used to going to a restaurant with your family and they consistently provide well-cooked food, a clean environment, the bathrooms, everything's polished, and you've grown accustomed to just that experience over and over again, there's a confidence that builds. You say, hey, we're going to go here. We've got some friends from out of town. Let's go here, because we know that they're going to treat us with the respect, and there's a sense of just, harmony and hospitality that you're enjoying in every single aspect. Or maybe you go to another place and you're like, well, it's hit or miss. It's not that great. We're not that sure. Or sometimes just take the risk of going into something new. And that's one of the factors here in the business of investing that is so difficult. You got these shillers, you got these YouTubers, you got these influencers. They're telling you that this thing is the one, and they're the same people that are getting you in to dump on you, right? And it's an ugly game that we see happen time and time again. And some people get really good at just understanding the cycles, understanding who's involved, understanding getting early, get out early, don't fall in love with the thing, pay yourselves. There's so many aspects here, and they're great. But we really like the aspect of not having to get into that whole stress of managing, and sometimes when people are really involved into these things, they're not even sleeping. They got their eyes on the charts. I mean, I've been through that. I think a lot of the folks here have been through that. Whether you're buying memes or whatever's hot, you buy all this stuff. Which one's going to actually pump, and then you sell it because you're going to go into the other one that the other dude was talking about, and then the one that you sold, that's the one that does a crazy amount of returns. I mean, it is brutal, and great. To each their own. But we feel that we can accomplish a lot in a sustainable, profitable, calm, cool, and collected way when you're involved with the right folks doing the right thing consistently every single day. Who's next? Who has a question for us?
I got a quick question. Might be multi-part. Based on how you explained it earlier, can you clarify? Like, let's say we opt in for the insurance and we hit that 5X. Once you hit the 5X, is that coming out, or is that remaining for the 10 months and then you get your 5X if you do it that way?
Oh no, you're cashed out, and that's both for the 10X and the 5X.
So along those same lines, I just follow-up question. If essentially those that are opting to the 10X, they're taking substantially more risk, potentially their funds would be proportionately making more money. Are the payouts equally distributed between those that opt for the insurance versus those that don't?
They're all being looked at as a global, right? We're not differentiating. We're understanding that the folks that have insurance, they're taking less risks because they're insured to have their initial back. So as everybody comes together, and when you're reaching, it's not like the 5X are going to get there faster than the 10X. Everybody's going to get there together. But there is an advantage to those that are taking the insurance. They're getting paid less, but they're having an insurance policy on their investment.
Yeah, so no, I understand that. I guess what I'm trying to get at, though, is if the global fund is paid out equally across both, and there's an opportunity for the 5X to be reached first, and then those withdrawn those funds removed, then that would leave the next 5 months only those that took the 10X risk. So my question is, what value and why is so much value being provided for those that opt into the insurance when they're taking inherently so much less risk, and then the funds are still being equally contributed the way that you're describing it? I guess that's the thing I'm having an issue wrapping my head around, if that makes sense.
Well, they're taking less risk, and they're getting half of what everybody else that's not wanting the insurance is paid. So it really comes down to the person, what their appetite is. Do you want to earn double but not have that insurance, or do you want to play the safe, base hit where you're understanding that you're not going to, take the 10X, you're getting the 5X? Is that what you mean?
No, what I'm saying is, let's say we're all paid equally, right? And then we reach that 5X mark. All those people are now essentially out, right? And then you have everyone that's left that's taking that risk now has just their funds available to be traded to get that extra 5X. What I'm saying is how does the actual risk equate with the funds being distributed equally? That's what I'm trying to get at. Like if I opt in for the 5X fund and it's boom, 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 we hit 5x, and then I'm cashed out. Then everybody else that's remaining, what value did those folks that take the insurance provide to the fund when everyone else is just remaining and the majority of the risk is being taken by those that opt in for the 10x? That's what I'm trying to get at. Maybe I'm not explaining myself right.
The 10 months is whether you have 5x or 10x is still 10 months.
Okay, that was my question, because it made it sound like once you got 5x, you're out, and then everyone else is just left to fend for themselves.
No, it's still 10x in 10 months or 5x in 10 months.
Okay, that's the clarification that I was looking for, and that makes it completely.
Whoa, so okay, so if you hit 5x in 2 months, it's not like that money is going to be withdrawn for all of the 5x insured players.
No, it can't be. Nope, it stays. Well,
so even the 5x players, they still have to like wait until the end of the 10 months.
Until all of the funds are paid out basically at that cap, but the 5x rate at which they can earn is not necessarily the same as the 10x rate, if that makes sense. So
no, that does make sense. That
everybody gets paid out
together. Clarify.
Everybody gets paid out together at the same time. Everybody has to fill. But if it fills early for everybody, then everybody's getting paid out early. But it's not right. Some are getting out and the other ones aren't. We're all in it together. Mm-hmm.
Can you, with one wallet, can you buy like some 10x slots and some 5x slots? Can you mix it up?
Yep, you can blend.
Nice. Okay. Coolio, thanks.
Let me confirm that. Alex, did you hear that? With the same wallet, can you do stakes at a insured and uninsured?
That's correct.
Great. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
I think I posted an image earlier today with an account that had a locked balance of, I don't know, 12,500 and a locked balance of 13,000, but a max payout of 125K or something like that. So it was a bit less than a full 10x because one of the deposits was insured. I'd make a screenshot right now, but I just broke something, so it's not loading.
Sheesh.
Yeah, let's get this crypto. Baby.
Oh, god damn. Oh, yeah, let's get this crypto.
All right. Great question, Deshaun. Is there any other part to it? I'm glad that we're getting to these details. Are very, very important that we all.
You've mentioned multiple times how past performance can be a good indication of future performance. Can you give us any details as to this particular trader's past performance?
Yeah, we've set a 34x yearly average.
What?
Yes. It's that. It's that. That's what we're so called.
34x in a year?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Oof.
Compounding, gains on gains. You're an expert on compounding.
Yes, sir.
So that's the beauty of it. So we put our expectations low. We go for the base hits. We put plenty of time on it, and we go for it. No need to. Do you know what I'm saying? To go degen mode and go crazy. Let's just play the safe base hits. Let's take what's there.
Hey, Atlas, got a question. I've got some USDC in my MetaMask on the Polygon main network. What would be the best way to deposit that into Quant?
You would bridge it in the same wallet to Binance USDT. You could use our very own, shout out to Alex, our very own bridge here at the Ark. And you would deposit the USDT on Binance Smart Chain, sir. Very
And go to
easy.
the bridge the USDC on Polygon to USDT on BSC.
That's correct, sir. That is right. Easy. Very, very easy. Yeah. Let's get to crypto. Who's next?
There is a question in the chat here, Atlas. Right, sounds like we can start depositing in a couple of hours, but is March 1st the day our funds start being traded?
Yes, that is our projected go live date. I do not believe we'll jump the gun and go live before that. If anything, we need a couple more days further testing and bugs before we go ahead and get everything, fully live. If we need a couple more days, we'll take those couple of days. We've seen here, even with our first initial launch, we delayed it by I believe a day. And came back, and there was still something we weren't that crazy about. Came back the next day. Mr. Green was over at my home, the Ark HQ. So everything has to be done in a manner where the safety and we're ensuring that everything is absolutely working properly, so we don't have a mess on our hands. So target March 1st. That's where we'd like to, turn the whole machine on. If we need a couple more days, you can count that we're going to go ahead and do that to ensure a very smooth activation of the whole system. Thank you, Coach Brad. The no-brainer. Let's go. Great question. Whoever that user is.
I got another one quick.
Goose.
Go ahead. See Vanquish.
Yeah, just quick. I mean, you talked about sending someone over to kind of, see firsthand the type of trading and the track record of the 32 or 34X. My question is, like the last couple of years, obviously we're in a bear market. Is there any indication or any view based off what you guys have observed in the style that this guy trades that it wouldn't be successful in a bull market, I guess, versus bear market trading versus bull market trading?
No, what we've been able to really see is that they're scary accurate. Scary accurate. And the trades are not, super, a couple of weeks type of direction, in a direction. It's more looking at the market with a foresight of, let's say, the week, the first couple of days, and understanding, what the market's giving. Where's the liquidity? Where are either short traders trapped or long traders trapped, and understanding how those cycles work and being able to read that, very similar to let's say an offense or defense in football or in a sport where through the experience they're able to adjust their playing standard to make sure that they're able to execute, protect, or score. So it's exceptional what we've been able to see. And, being able to really plug in, we'll have a really live play-by-play where we're not going to be showing that to the community. We're respecting the IP. But we can tell you that generally you're looking at a 48, 24-hour, 72-hour play. And sometimes when the trade is going very well in the right direction, they're DCAing, they're upping the leverage to take advantage of a position and letting it ride longer than initially expected when it's just giving and giving. And another great thing we've noticed is of using a trailing stop. Shout out to the trailing stop, folks, where you're securing your profits. It keeps moving in your direction. It keeps giving you fantastic trail stop. Add more of that upside, profit to the realized profit area. If the market decides to betray and turn on you, you're secured. So that is a great way. I like that strategy. I see that implemented through these records a lot. It's a very smart way to go. Don't just, what you lock it in. Your getting X amount. It turned it from a possible long, 3-4 day hold with great upside potential. It didn't go against you. What you've locked in potential, get it. If you need to switch directions or you need to be a little more patient and wait to get to the right level, to get to where liquidity is, to move in the direction, then have the patience to wait for that. And sometimes it keeps giving and giving and giving, and sometimes it doesn't. But it's the ability to manage both of those scenarios, be able to read it, to be on top and do it in a consistent manner. I think that's where the benefits really, really lie. Great question. I hope that answers it.
I've got a question, Atlas, and I think I know the answer already, but and you might not even be able to answer it. But is the trader trading in cryptocurrencies? Is it actual currency? It is crypto? I thought it would be. Crypto. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, not Forex, not the S&P or anything Wall Street or commodities. It is crypto based. That's what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, he's trading 7 days a week.
Yes, pretty much. Pretty much. That's what's happening. A lot of emphasis. I don't want to give too much. let me not give too much away, Brandon. But yes, yes, sir.
Cool.
Yeah, there's a certain time of the day, it's a certain market opening that is very clearly a big move that happens. That's where a lot of the focus is happening. But we won't give too much away, Mr. Brandon. We'll share with you in the sauce. Hey, Justin, how's it going?
Any chance of lowering to 500?
Lowering to 500.
He's talking about the minimum stake to 500.
No, that's...
Thousands a stretch. That's a lot of money in Australia.
Yeah. For the way we've put together the system, we don't want to have a ton of people. The round numbers too of 1,000, 5,000, so forth. Also help on the back end accounting, keeping the numbers round. Yeah, we don't want a lot of the, because it's 500, then hey, why not 100, and then not why the 50, and then we start running into a lot of these smaller, DJs that can, from experience, turn out to be a real pain in the arse, if you know what I mean. I think this is a long-termer one. This is a hold one. This takes an investor that really has the patience and the foresight to sit back and be passive and let it all happen. So I'm sorry, Justin. As of right now, we wanted to keep it at the 5K, and understanding just from talking with a lot of the folks here that they were just weren't going to be able to make it. And look, we want people to really get the win. But we don't want it to be a mass type of participation either. If there's any change, I'll make it a note here, let you know, Justin. Okay. We love Mr. Justin, great member here, always with us of our community. But great point taken. Who's next?
Is another question in the chat. I know it's been answered previously, but perhaps they weren't here. And the question is there any possibility of getting less of the amount invested?
Less of the amount invested. I'm not sure I follow.
I think they. So it comes down to whether. Yeah, I see. It's a strangely worded question.
Yeah. Is there maybe it's this way? I'll try. Is there a way that it's not a full 10x that's being paid out? That the performance...
No, Alex. Atlas, sorry. I was the one that actually asked the question. But my question is, if I actually invest in 1,000, and is there any possibility of not, if for whatever reason they can't actually make any sort of profit. So is it, the ultimate gain at the end of 10 months, is it going to be I might get back my 1,000 or probably less? Or would it be is a guaranteed 5x and a guaranteed 10x?
No, there is no guarantees. The only guarantee that we can offer you is if you have the insurance. If you have the insurance, that is an option, you're guaranteed, worst case scenario, to have your initial. So if you put $1,000, or if you put 10,000 or 50,000, that capital is insured. So you could never get back less than that. The folks that don't have the insurance option, they're going full risk on. They could put the 1,000 or 10,000 if the performance is really bad for whatever reason. They could lose all or a part of it during the exercise of the trading. They do not have any insurance, so there is absolutely the possibility that you go in with your funds, and in the worst case scenario, you're not insured. You could lose some or all of your deposit. On the other hand, let's say instead of a 10x in the 10 months, there was a 8x return or a 6x return or a 7x return for the uninsured 10x investor, then that's, sad in a way. We want, the projected, hopeful return of the 10x. So what would happen there, that 10 months happens, we'll look at the pool, we'll look at the positions and say, hey guys, we didn't hit the 10, we got the 6, we got the 7, we got the 8, and that would be distributed accordingly, which I think is a more logical understanding. Anything can happen, of course, but asking in the worst case scenario, insured are obviously having the advantage. They're having half of the upside of expected projected returns based on past performance. I hope that helps, Ed, to explain to you what the risk for both options are.
Okay, I just want to get the if I'm not insured. So if I'm not actually insured, you're saying that I'm more or less likely to get my deposit back, right? Or I might not get my deposit back. That's the question.
The answer is, if you're not insured, you could lose it all in the worst case scenario. Okay. You could lose part of it, let's say 30% or 10% or 20%, or you could make gains of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe not reach the full 10x potential. On a very scenario, and the best case scenario, you hit 10x sooner than the 10 months or at the 10-month line. So there's the full spectrum. Worst case scenario, everything is gone. On the other hand, we hit the target 10x even early, and then there's all in between without the insurance.
Okay, that's actually made it clearer now.
Yeah. I'm not telling you that one way is the most likely. We don't want to fear monger. We don't want to, at the same time, create an expectation and tell you, oh, it's gonna be this. It has to be this. You can, go to sleep and just, write it down and it's going to be that. That would be absolutely irresponsible. And you're asking the right question. What's the worst case scenario? What's like the middle of the range, great, good return. And then, let's go for the top end of great results. And then let's go for the, expected max optimum position, and falling anywhere in between that. And then if there's fear, if there's concern, there's been a lot of people burned in this market in this past couple of months, especially in projects which are, quote unquote, trying to do this business. And we've just seen rug after rug after rug. And we understand there's PTSD. There's folks that have been wrecked. There's folks here that we care about that went and got into some of these things and got completely wrecked and obliterated. Heinous debacles everywhere. So how do we take care of that guy? How do we tell him, look, man, nobody is getting a guaranteed, return on this, or we're taking a risk, but we can devise a method where at least your deposit, what you put into it, is not lost. It cannot be taken from you. Now, can you accept and can you live that you're not going, full spectrum, full reward range, but you're willing to give that up to have that comfortable feeling that at least you won't lose 1 cent? Now, that's what every person here needs to look in the mirror and ask themselves. I personally love that option. I think it's fantastic. The only thing that I'm risking is the 10 months. My capital is secured. The upside, whatever you give me, hey, man, I'll take it. Give me a 5X. Where are you going to find that? That's very difficult to do with people that you enjoy investing and you enjoy the experience with. You like the way we do business. And there's a synergy. There's a meeting of the minds. There's a confidence that comes. But, my grandmother used to always say, 1 bird in the hand is better than 10 birds on the tree. It's just logical, common sense. Go for the insurance. But we don't want to put everybody into the same box. We understand that some people here have a different investment criteria. Some folks here are having fantastic returns and are doing well. And a lot of folks aren't, and they want to go into the more safe thing. The fact that, again, the ARK delivers, that everybody gets to make their plan. Everybody gets to make their choice. And if you don't like it at all, and if you think that all these things are BS, you're in the right to feel that way. But I think if you spend the time and you see the non-Ponzonomics in every way, shape, everything's closed off. There's no more money coming to the system. You're getting an insurance. We haven't seen that done, and we believe that our investors deserve to have those options. If we can make it happen, if we can mitigate the risk and give everyone a chance to speculate and play, but have their back covered, not having to look at the wife or look at the kids. Hey, you know what? We're not going on the ski vacation this year because daddy lost the money. Come on now. We gotta be, I think, serious sometimes when it comes to these things, and have those conversations and look in the mirror. And maybe like a suggestion came here. Hey, can I put one part into the 10X and put another part into the 5X? That might be a play as well, right? But you get to make the choice. That's what it should be. That's what we like to offer. Let's get this crypto. Can you hear me okay, Coach MT?
Oh, yeah, loud and clear.
Huh. Are you hearing the soundboard?
Oh, actually, I don't know if we have heard the soundboard.
At all?
It was working at the start.
It was working before. But yeah, I don't know what's going on here. It's not working for me right now, but it's okay. Ed, did you have further questions? By the way, great question.
Yeah,
very important.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't actually listen on at the very beginning. You probably actually answered this question. So the requirement for the insurance is the 10X. Is that correct, or is it additional money?
Oh no, the insurance is free. You don't have to pay anything additional. What you're doing when you opt in for the
Oh, Atlas, I think we lost you there. I think he lost connection. I didn't hear the question. Maybe I can answer it.
Yeah, I can answer it. The insurance is, there's no charge for the insurance. So when you're creating a stake and you're making your first deposit, you'll see a little checkbox. It's like a little toggle switch where you turn on or off the insurance. So there's no additional cost for it or anything. It's just the payout amount you'll see drop from the 10X value to the 5X value when you toggle the switch on or off to select the insurance. So if you select the insurance, you'll see your payout. Let's say that you put in 1,000 for your stake, then it would be a 5,000 instead of a 10,000 return. So what you're doing is you're basically just giving up some of your funds that are going to be held aside as collateral, so that there's no risk to your initial deposit.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, thanks for that.
You're welcome.
I've got another question.
Did you guys hear me? I got the Telegram just
right. Yeah, you're back.
Thanks, Fred. Appreciate you taking that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Justin.
Thanks. Okay, so the previous earnings were like 30 times, right? And our theoretical maximum is 5 times with insurance or 10 times without. Is that right? Or can it go higher if it does?
No, the earnings capped. So if we hit the 10x earlier, if you have a stake without the insurance, or you hit the 5x along with the 10x, as we mentioned, they're all just going to trade together. Then we would pay out sooner. But there's no additional payouts beyond that 10x.
Okay, cool.
It's all target based. You know, we're giving up time, capital, and assuming risk for a target payout. And that's our interest. Here's our target. Here's what we're committing to. Here's the risk that we're willing to take, the 10x, the 5x insurance. We play the game to be able to capitalize and bring home the win. Again, there's no option or guarantee at the moment that we will have another opportunity to play a second round. Very important to do that. We are seizing the moment. We are seizing the opportunity. We're keeping expectations very realistic. Look, I would love to have a fantastic return, and that we have another opportunity and say, hey guys, you've made a great amount of money, and because you invested in the first, round, you have a guaranteed spot for round 2. We'd love to tell you that, but at this point, we haven't even had those conversations. We want to make sure that we know who's on board, that everybody understands the option, what's so beautiful about what we've been able to put together here and make it really comfortable for different types of risk appetite and timeframes for everybody. Once we have that taken care of, once we close this off at whatever amount we want to do it in, without going out there, without having to promote and create all this ruckus, let's build a success. Let's get the folks that are wanting to be here. We're in here. We're all in ourselves. I think the performance is going to speak a lot for itself, and then we'll be able to gauge and see what the offering is going to be going forward. What I can tell you for sure, logically, because we've had conversations, that most likely we're not going to be able to achieve and get as much as we're doing right now. And you'll find out with a lot of businesses, supply and demand, people understand they're getting bigger hedge funds, bigger customers. They're having to give up a lot less because they've had the fantastic performance. They have the track record. So as you move up, and that could be another part of the risk of doing a second and a third offering and round in the future. They could get so big to the point where, like, hey, unless you're coming in with something that's attractive, or unless you're accepting a deal that's attractive to them, I've seen this from experience where they get into a league of their own where they're just not flying unless it's private jet, right? PJ. They're not taking first class on Emirates or Air France or anything. They get to an altitude, they get to a level where a lot of folks just don't have the opportunity to get in. So we don't want to put expectations upon ourselves. Maybe in this 10 months, 11 months, we enjoyed the ride, we had a great fun, but they'll tell us, hey, look, sorry, unless you're going to reach this level, or unless we're going to come to this type of agreement, hey, we're not interested in continuing for the next term. So let's keep also the expectations there realistic. We'd love to tell you otherwise, but that's not the case. And we also believe that it's better to go with the flow, wait and see how things develop. Let's get some months under our belt. Let's see what the future looks like as we're building it here. We have also the security products coming out. We got more partnerships really underway as we want to, put our products into as many hands as possible. So there's a ton of work to do. It's just nice having this on the back burner. We don't have to really manage this very much. We don't have to sit here and educate a community. We went through that with the ROI DAP every day, 416 consecutive podcasts, making sure everybody understood the rules of the game, not to over leverage, welcoming folks that got a referral from somewhere and wanted to come here, do their due diligence. This is a different speed, and it doesn't take away or detract from the focus of us continuing to build, continuing to grow and prop up these companies. We're opening up our company in Switzerland, setting up the bank account. I was there a couple of weeks ago, creating the structure so that we're able to execute. There's a lot of work we have to do. And we, again, don't want to be distracted with something that you have to completely manage and get more investors in and play the whole Ponzi game. It's just not for us. So I think this fits our criteria, our profile, our comfort level, our risk appetite on both aggressive and a safe, insured, no risk way. And we hope and believe that the community here will take the time, do the due diligence, ask the right question as you're doing, and make the correct decision whether to invest or not to invest. And that's okay as well. It's really up to everyone. There's no compromise at all. Let's get to crypto. Who's next? Coach MT, I think the folks are busy looking at the Ark bridge, how they can cross on over.
They're DMing all their friends saying, "Hey, get back in the Ark! Something's going crazy."
It is a beautiful thing, man. We're very happy. We're very proud of what we've been able to do here. Go ahead.
Atlas, one question. The updates. I mean, once we actually enter this, this new stuff. The updates, is this still going to be weekly updates? Or is it?
That's correct.
All being, yeah, okay.
Every week, and very professional. Think of a report, a professional level report on the overall strategy and what the fund and the traders did for that week. As far as to the market sentiment and directions and what they were able to produce without going into too much exact detail, but showing an overall, return number. And we will publish the return according to what it represents here for the community of what they're earning. You need to understand that they're also in it to win. They're also taking their percentages. So we would show the final numbers, return on investment that apply to everyone here that's invested, that's looking at their bottom line and what their investment growth is happening on a week by week basis. So very simple, very professional, and we make sure to provide that here for you, as well as we're going to stick, I believe, to the weekly podcast. We're not running a huge, massive ROI DAP situation where we have to sit here and educate and hold a lot of hands and as I say, pump the charts. That's not what we're doing here. And we're also continuing, head down, focused on developing. Today, Thursday, we had a fantastic demo with our team of developers for the security apps. Very satisfied with that. So again, continuing with our focus. This is a set it and forget it long-term investment with those weekly updates so that folks are able to get a grasp and an understanding week by week of the development and also seeing those balances continue on the right trajectory of growth.